Imagine looking at a pile of gold so massive it could buy a small country, but knowing that simply reaching out to grab a single coin could trigger an international disaster, or worse, bury you alive at the bottom of the ocean. Down in the pitch-black freezing depths of the Caribbean Sea lies a rotting wooden carcass of a legendary galleon, overflowing with emeralds, silver, and enough raw gold to make the richest billionaires on Earth jealous. People have spent their entire lives hunting for this exact vessel, draining their bank accounts, ruining their marriages, and going half mad staring at old nautical maps just to find its resting place. And the strangest part is, they actually found it. They pinpointed the exact coordinates, sent down high-tech submersibles with bright lights, and recorded ultra-high-definition video of the massive cannons and scattered treasure glinting in the dark water. You would think the next step is hauling it all up to the surface and celebrating. But here is a detail nobody expected. The people who found it, the governments who claim it, and the scavengers who desperately want to steal it are all locked in, a bizarre stalemate. No one is allowed to touch it. Not a single coin, not a broken piece of wood, nothing. If you try, you don't just face the wrath of modern navies patrolling the surface above, but you also face the incredibly volatile, highly unstable ruins of a ship that is practically a deep-sea bomb waiting to go off. We are talking about a fortune estimated at $20 billion, just sitting there in the mud, slowly being eaten by marine life. When the robotic cameras first hovered over the debris field, the researchers in the control room went completely silent. They were staring at teacups perfectly preserved, sitting upright next to human bones and massive bronze cannons stamped with intricate dolphin engravings. It was a ghost town frozen in time. The sheer magnitude of the wealth scattered across the seafloor was paralyzing, but the realization that it had to stay exactly where it was felt like a cruel joke played by the ocean itself. Back in the early 1700s, the oceans were basically a lawless frontier, ruled by whichever empire had the biggest guns and the most ruthless captains. The ship we are looking at was a Spanish galleon, a massive floating fortress designed for one specific purpose, which was to haul the staggering wealth extracted from South America back to the royal vaults in Europe. They packed the dark, cramped cargo holds with crates of raw silver mined from the treacherous mountains of the Andes, heavy chests overflowing with brilliant green emeralds, and stacks of freshly minted gold coins. It was an amount of money that could fund entire wars and build cities overnight. But hauling that kind of treasure across the ocean was essentially painting a giant target on your own back. British warships, rogue privateers, and heavily armed pirates were constantly prowling the waters, waiting for a chance to intercept these treasure fleets. The captain of our doomed galleon knew the risks perfectly well. He knew his ship, was slow, weighed down heavily by the sheer mass of the precious metals in its belly. So he relied on an impressive array of 62 bronze cannons and a crew of hundreds to fight off anyone foolish enough to attack. But on one fateful evening, just as the sun was dipping below the horizon and painting the sky a bruised purple, an enemy squadron ambushed them. What followed was an absolute bloodbath. The thunder of cannon fire echoed across the water for hours. Wooden splinters the size of spears flew through the air, tearing through sails and men alike. The galleon fought like a cornered beast, but the attackers were relentless. And then, a catastrophic mistake occurred. We still do not know exactly what ignited it, but a spark somehow found its way into the galleon's massive powder magazine. The resulting explosion was so violently powerful that it ripped the massive ship entirely in half. Witnesses from the attacking ships later reported seeing a blinding flash of light, followed by a shockwave that rattled their own teeth. In a matter of seconds, the majestic galleon, its crew, and every single ounce of that magnificent treasure plummeted into the dark depths of the ocean. The sea swallowed the prize whole, leaving only floating debris and a few stunned survivors clinging to broken wood. For centuries, the exact location of this disaster remained a ghost story, whispered in port taverns. Fast forward to the modern era. where sonar technology and deep-sea robotics have mapped parts of the ocean floor better than ever before. When a team of highly funded researchers finally captured the first grainy images of the wreck, the world held its breath. But immediately, a massive, terrifying problem presented itself. The wreck is located at an extreme depth, thousands of feet below the surface. Down there, the pressure is absolute crushing, enough to instantly crumple a standard submarine like an empty soda can. Human divers are completely out of the question. Even the most advanced robotic submersibles have to navigate the area with extreme caution. But the depth is just the beginning of the nightmare. The wooden structure of the ship has been soaking in the freezing salt water for over 300 years. It looks somewhat solid on camera, but in reality, it has the structural integrity of wet cardboard. If a robotic arm tries to lift a cannon or pry open a rotting chest, the slightest miscalculation could cause the entire debris field to collapse in on itself, burying the most valuable artifacts forever beneath tons of toxic black mud. And if you think that is bad, remember the powder magazine that blew the ship apart? Experts believe there is still unexploded ordnance mixed in with the wreckage. Moving the wrong piece of debris could theoretically trigger a secondary explosion, destroying the modern multi-million-dollar equipment trying to recover it and obliterating the fragile historical artifacts. On top of the physical dangers, the moment the discovery was announced, an absolute legal war erupted. The country where the ship was originally built claimed it belonged to them by right of history. The country in whose waters it was found claimed it was theirs by right of geography. The salvage company that found it demanded half the treasure for their efforts. And indigenous groups rightly pointed out that the wealth was stolen from their ancestors and should be returned. Suddenly, the treasure was locked behind a wall of international red tape so thick that not even a single coin could be legally touched without triggering a major diplomatic crisis. It is fascinating how the ocean has perfectly preserved the consequences of human greed, while simultaneously creating an impenetrable barrier around it. You can look at Ensado, the shiny coins resting on the sand, but an invisible shield of deadly pressure, explosive danger, and fierce legal battles keeps everyone at bay. To this day, the site remains under strict 24-hour surveillance. Military vessels patrol the surface waters above the wreck, using advanced radar and sonar, to ensure no rogue treasure hunters try to sneak in under the cover of darkness. It is an intense, high-stakes game of cat and mouse. There have been rumors of black market submarines trying to dive near the exclusion zone, funded by anonymous billionaires obsessed with possessing a piece of the legendary hoard. But the military perimeter is heavily enforced. If you even sail a yacht too close to the coordinates, you will be intercepted by armed naval boats demanding to know your business. Below the surface, the tension is just as palpable. Every time an authorized scientific probe goes down to monitor the wreck, they notice subtle changes. The ocean currents are slowly shifting the sands, occasionally revealing new, breathtaking artifacts. Recently, cameras caught a glimpse of an intact golden chalice, heavily encrusted with marine life but unmistakably brilliant. It was sitting precariously on the edge of a steep underwater trench. The scientists watching the live feed wanted nothing more than to scoop it up before it tumbled into the pitch-black abyss below, but their strict orders forbade any interaction. They had to just sit back and watch, hoping the fragile artifact survives another season of underwater storms. It is a deeply frustrating experience for everyone involved. We are a species that loves to conquer, to dig things up, to put them in museums, or to sell them to the highest bidder. Having a prize of this magnitude constantly dangling right in front of our faces, yet entirely out of reach, goes against every human instinct. Some rogue archaeologists argue that we should just risk it, that leaving the treasure to rot in the ocean is a crime against history. They argue that the wooden hull is deteriorating faster due to modern climate changes altering ocean acidity, and soon there will be nothing left but scattered metal. But the opposing side stands firm, insisting that the wreck is a mass grave. Hundreds of terrified sailors died in that catastrophic explosion, and their remains are still down, there tangled in the wreckage. To them, ripping the ship apart for its gold is nothing short of grave robbing. The eerie silence of the deep ocean stands in stark contrast to the noisy, aggressive debates happening in courtrooms and naval command centers around the world. So what exactly is the end game here? Will this incredible fortune just sit in the dark forever, slowly being consumed by the sea until the gold and silver are eventually swallowed completely by the shifting tectonic plates? Right now, an ambitious plan is being whispered about in the halls of government. They are talking about building a custom, highly specialized robotic claw system, essentially a surgical suite for the deep ocean. The idea is to carefully lift the artifacts 1 millimeter at a time, using localized acoustic mapping to avoid the unstable powder kegs and fragile structures. But the cost to build such a machine is astronomical, and the moment a piece of treasure breaches the surface, the ferocious legal war over who owns it will explode all over again. It is highly likely that no single person alive today will ever legally hold one of those emeralds in their hands. The wreck is a perfectly closed loop of human desire and natural defense. It forces us to confront a very uncomfortable truth about our relationship with history and money. We like to think we are the absolute masters of this planet, that with enough technology and funding, we can take whatever we want, whenever we want it. But this rotting ship, sitting silently at the bottom of the world, proves otherwise. It stands as a monument to the fleeting nature of wealth and the sheer, unstoppable power of the deep ocean. The men who died trying to protect that treasure, and the men who died trying to steal it, are all equal now, just dust in the currents. The gold they spilled their blood for remains exactly where it fell, cold, heavy, and completely indifferent to the madness it continues to cause on the surface. And maybe, just maybe, that is exactly where it belongs. A cursed prize that no one could claim in life and that no one can touch in death. The next time you hold a coin in your hand, think about the $20 billion resting in the freezing dark, surrounded by the bones of those who thought it would buy them the world. What would you do if you found yourself floating above that fortune? Would you respect the untouchable boundary of the abyss? Or would you risk the wrath of the curse, the military, and the crushing depths just to grab a single, brilliant piece of the past? The story of the legendary galleon is far from over, but for now, its doors remain firmly locked. The ocean is a jealous keeper of secrets, and it seems this is one treasure it has absolutely no intention of ever giving back.